Hey folks, this is the one and only Warwolf howling out at you for yet another review today. I did promise I was going to give you another one. This time we are doing Rampage, which is on at a special 6:30 broadcast this past Friday, April the 28th. We've got another episode coming up next week at 5:30. So let's jump right into this. Obviously, once again, this is Rampage for this week. So, what did we start out with? Well, we started out with Bullet Club Gold. That's Jay White and Juice Robinson. And who are they up against? Well, none other than the team of Ricky Starks and Shawn Spears. Now, I gotta admit, kind of an interesting combination. So, Shawn Spears was part of the Pinnacle, which was a group that was put together by MJF to combat the Inner Circle. Ricky Starks, a former member of Team Taz. This was a pretty decent match, but ultimately we end up seeing Jay White getting the win off of the Blade Runner. Now remember, Jay White goes by the name Switchblade as a nickname. We also got a reiteration of the fact that this guy is a Grand Slam winner in New Japan, meaning he's held all 4 of the major singles titles for which he is able to compete over in New Japan Pro Wrestling, including the IWGP World Championship, which technically is a relatively recent title. Before that, it was just called the IWGP Heavyweight title, so that's a whole thing. So we get the Blade Runner for a win there, and then we move on. And what are we moving on to? Well, we get a brawl, after the match. Basically, we get Ricky and Juice brawling. And Juice nearly gets speared, but he manages to run from the ring before it can happen. Then we get a backstage promo from the Hardy Boys and Hook. They're trying to find out what happened to Isaiah Cassidy. Turns out he's been abducted by the Firm, who are basically trying to figure out when the Firm deletion match, yes, that's what they're calling it, was going to happen. Well, now they're at the point of we don't want to wait anymore. We're going to have it happen on next Friday. And they basically threaten, if they don't get what they want, they're going to basically throw Isaiah off of, a scaffolding. Well, they get what they want, but, they're heels, so they do it anyway. And I gotta admit, a chokeslam off the scaffold, I was not expecting that. So there's that. We get Naturally Limitless. That's Keith Lee and Dustin Rhodes taking on a team. I don't know anything about these guys, Charlie James and Brady Pierce. It's kind of a moot point anyway, even that I don't know who they are, because this was a relatively fast match. But I will say this, it is showing that these two do have some decent tag team chemistry. And James and Pierce weren't completely run over, but yeah, this was still relatively, a fast match. They basically turned them into mulch. So next we have Swerve Strickland with the Mogul Embassy coming down. Now this is a recent development. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on here. But this is basically the Mogul affiliates teaming up with the Embassy. So that's Prince Nana and the Ring of Honor World Six-Man Champions. At least coming down to the ring with them. But Naturally Limitless do not back down. So then, we got something I was very surprised to see, but kind of makes sense. We got Ty Mello coming out during a promo for Sammy. Now, this is backstage, obviously, as you can see from this particular screenshot. But yeah, she basically came out to kind of call Sammy out on this whole thing about him agreeing to lay down for MJF at Double or Nothing if they manage to win the tag team match that is going to be slated for this coming Wednesday, where if Sammy and MJF win, we then get them as the main event, and Sammy has agreed to lay down for MJF for whatever kind of money it was that he asked for. Now, Ty is kind of just ripping him over the coals over this, and I don't blame her. So, I mean, again, I mentioned this with, my other review earlier today with Tony Schiavone. where he's taking MJF and Taz to task over this. And I'm very happy to see that Ty has the same kind of general, first reaction to it. So then we get a quick match with Anna Jay. She's taking a woman by the name of Ashley D'Amboise. I don't know how to pronounce it. Decent enough opponent, but Anna's just not playing. Now, this is Anna Jay, also referred to as Anna Jas, and she is still extremely pissed off at Julia Hart. Now, Julia Hart sprayed her with the black mist a couple of weeks ago. So we've got basically this weird little feud going on between these two. And basically, Anna wins this match with the Queenslayer. The lights go out, Julia pops up, and they start brawling. And, well, it didn't exactly come out well for Julia, who gets basically bow and arrowed right along the ring post. And now, I got to double check this, but I do believe those are square ring posts. That's something they brought up a couple of times in the last few weeks or even last few months on AEW. So, yeah, that is not a good place to get posted. I mean, the ring post is no place to get posted anyway. But when you've got, like, pointy ends on those squared posts digging into your sides, that's really not good for you. And I mean really not good for you. So we get the Outcast. They're cutting a promo backstage. They've got a picture of Britt Baker's face with that really nasty shiner that she had this past Wednesday. But here's the kicker. We do know that apparently Saraya is finally getting back into the ring again. Now, I haven't seen her actually wrestle since her match with Britt Baker. I don't know if that's because they're taking it slow and trying to make sure that she is going to be able to keep wrestling full time or what. I mean, as far as I know, there was no injury to Saraya after her match with Baker back at Full Gear. But yeah, it's been months since we've seen her in the ring as a competitor, at least in singles competition. Who is she taking on? A woman named Willow. Now, we've talked about her before. Should be an interesting match. We got the Acclaimed, and they are back with their best buddy, Daddy Ass. I have no idea who their opponents are, but this was a stupidly quick match, and I mean stupidly quick. So then we get the main event of the evening, and that is Cash Wheeler, one half of FTR, alongside Dax Harwood, taking on Jay Lethal. And Jay Lethal, of course, accompanied by Jeff Jarrett, Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh, but we've also got Mark Briscoe out there as a special enforcer. And this is where things got kind of interesting. So, basically, for anybody who is not aware or hasn't been watching my videos, Mark Briscoe's brother Jay was killed in a car accident back in January. And again, we send all the best to the Briscoe brothers and, their families and children alike. So we've got Jay Lethal kind of playing on the long-standing friendship between himself and Mark Briscoe, trying to bring him into this alliance of Lethal, Jarrett, Sanjay Dutt, and Satnam Singh. Meanwhile, you got FTR, who are also friends with Briscoe, and they're kind of like, well, they're very much upset about what Lethal is trying to do, playing on the friendship between himself and Briscoe. Briscoe is caught in the middle here. He's trying to play peacemaker. I don't really think it's working. I mean, that's probably a given, but at this point, it bears stating. So we do get a pretty decent match, and again, I gotta stress here, the FTR guys are great competitors, but it very much shows that they are not used to singles competition. And it shows that they're not used to singles competition because, quite frankly, they are almost always together as a tag team. It's very rare that you see these guys one-on-one. And once again, we get shenanigans from the Jarrett Lethal Dutt Singh Alliance. I don't even know what to even call these guys. So I know at one point they were calling the tag team Triple J, Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. So yeah, whatever. So these guys basically, we get some more shenanigans. Jay Lethal wins, but overall it was a good match, and I think they're setting up for a tag team title match at some point in the near future because individually, Jarrett and Lethal have now each defeated one member of the AEW World Tag Team Champions. Now remember, they just got the tag titles back only a couple of weeks ago, and they had literally put their careers on the line to take on the Guns in the chance to get the titles back. This, of course, is their second time as the AEW World Tag Team Champions. I don't think they're going to take the belts off of them that quickly, or at least I would pray to God they won't. Because I'm still upset about the fact that they gave Wardlow the belt just to have him drop the title literally just a couple of days later to Powerhouse Hobbs. So we'll see what happens there. But all in all, I thought it was a pretty interesting show. We did get one rather interesting announcement, though. Give me just a moment. So we basically got the announcement, I'm not sure if it's this week or if it's 2 weeks from now, but we are supposed to be getting Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega inside of a steel cage. Now, yes, you do see the graphic there stating that Kenny is, in fact, the IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion. It looks like they're saying this is going to be Monday the 10th. So this is actually next week, not this coming week. But as far as I know, I don't know if this is for the U.S. title. I really have no idea. But for Dynamite, that's going to be pretty interesting in 2 weeks' time. So definitely keep glued to your sets for that, or your computers, or whatever you're watching, Dynamite and Rampage on. But yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing there that they have not said whether or not the U.S. title is on the line. Now, they might not be able to do that because they might not have the okay from New Japan Pro Wrestling. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. We do know that the Elite will probably be in the house on Dynamite this coming Wednesday, which of course is Wednesday the 3rd of May. And we know that basically we've got more matches that will be announced for Rampage on this coming Wednesday, and we know that theoretically a lot of these feuds are going to continue advancing. We've got Naturally Limitless versus the Mogul Embassy, which I don't know if they're going to start making that a Rampage exclusive thing. I mean, it's possible, but who the hell knows? This Wednesday, let me remind you again, we have a tag team match with big time implications for Double or Nothing. Sammy Guevara will team up with Maxwell Jacob Friedman, the reigning AEW World Heavyweight Champion, to take on Jungle Boy Jack Perry and Darby Allin. If Perry and Allin win, they will be added to the main event of Double or Nothing in a fatal four-way match, something I have been predicting for the better part of the last few weeks. Actually, the better part of the last month, let's be honest. So, I do believe that is what they're going for, because I really don't think they're going to put on a show where Sammy just lays down for MJF. And I think they realize if they tried that, nobody would buy the pay-per-view because nobody would want to watch it through to the end. So, we do have a couple of things, again, to look out for. Christian and Luchasaurus made an appearance this past Wednesday. I expect them to show up again, potentially this week, whether it be on Dynamite or Rampage, because I believe they, along with Powerhouse Hobbs and Wardlow, are all set for some kind of a collision course. Whether or not that's Luchasaurus and or Hobbs taking on Wardlow, or if it's Christian and Luchasaurus and Hobbs all taking on Wardlow. I don't know if we're going to get another Fatal 4-Way anytime soon. But a triple threat isn't out of the question, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. Anyway, that's my review for Rampage. I know it was relatively short, but I'm trying to keep these videos, to a relatively manageable length. If you happen to like this video, please hit subscribe, hit that like button, hit the notification bell, and set it to all notifications. Because I tell you right now, the YouTube algorithm is the only thing that cheats more than Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal in the ring. Anyway, folks, this is Warwolf howling out at you. Have a good night. And I am aware I have promised an anime review. It is coming, and I'm going to try to do it tonight. Peace!